Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome in the kitchen with Tally Faye. We ready to rock and roll today? I am. I got a lot of recipes I'm working on today. I got all those vegetables and stuff at the store and everything that I could yesterday, and then the ones for my garden and all that. Y'all, grocery prices. It's unreal, isn't it? I don't know. Buzz says no matter how poor we are, we're going to eat. So if we got one thing, we got food. We some chow hounds in this house, and we're going to eat. So that's what we doing. But today, or this morning, the first thing I'm going to make, because I got a few videos I'm going to work on. This is something for the holidays, for gift giving. It's kind of a fun thing to do. I hope. I've not made this recipe. And y'all know I do a lot of canning and stuff. And y'all, this is so easy. Don't freak out when I say canning, okay? It's really simple. It's the main thing is getting your preparation done, okay? And this is called Christmas jam. And I know it's going to be so pretty in the jars. And I wish I had at the end of it some little ribbon and stuff. I'm not a big crafter, so I don't have all that stuff, but most of my girlfriends do. And I'm going to go and get me a little roll of ribbon or whatever to tie around the jars, because I'm going to make baskets this year for all the kids from our canning stuff. And I've got a variety of things, and it's just so cute. Those baskets are so cute, aren't they, when they're set up and made with love and all that fun stuff. But anyway, the first thing we're going to work on is this Christmas jam, okay? And it's a cranberry thing, okay, with all the fall spice thingies in it, autumn, fall, whatever you call it, right? Seasonal spices and stuff. This is all about a seasonal thing here. Now this recipe says that it makes 10 half pints. So y'all, I've done run out of them because I've already used all my jars and stuff. So for this recipe and the other one I'm going to make y'all after a while, I bought me 2 little cases of the ball jars, and I don't know, they're $11, something like that or whatever, but they got the lids and the caps on them already, right? And it's the half pints is what I'm going to do for this recipe, and that way it makes it for great gift giving, all right? And I have my jars. I've had them. In a little bit I'll show y'all up close. I'm going to move my camera over there, but we got to stir this stuff up first. But I've had my jars the whole time in my big canner sitting here sterilizing in that hot water, okay? Which that ain't no big deal. It's no big deal, y'all. Don't be tripping. It's fun. It's fun. And you'll be so proud of yourself. You really will. You make this and you will be proud of yourself to give it to people. All right? So here we go. The first thing we got to do, I'm going to have to follow this recipe because I'm pretty sure I know it pretty much, but I want to just make sure I give you right amounts and all that good stuff. So let me bring you in as close as it'll let me, and I'm going to put it down here where we can see what we're doing, okay? All right. And I've already done some of this chopping. Now, if you have a big food processor, you know, you can use it. But you don't want to chop this stuff up to where it's pureed, okay? You're wanting it chunky, a little bit chunky. So I have, and I've already done this on the first part of it. See my cranberries in there? And listen, I couldn't get fresh cranberries. This is October, I don't know, mid-October, and they said they're not in season. I'm like, okay. So I had to get, y'all, and they didn't have frozen ones either. So I had to get the dried cranberries. Well, I brought them home, and what I did was I put them in this bowl right here, and I just put water on them and let them rehydrate. That's all you got to do, okay? Just cover them with water and let them sit there a little while, and they'll puff right back up just like they were if they were fresh, okay? So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm squirreling on you. We need 12 ounces of fresh or frozen cranberries, okay? And I told you what I did with the dried ones. So we're going to take them and chop them up. We're going to chop them up real good. And so, rather than a food processor, I've already got these all chopped up how I want them to be like that, okay? The next thing we got to do is it calls for 1 orange. Let me say this about the orange. Y'all, growing up, my mama loved oranges and stuff, and I was like, man, whatever. But mama loved oranges, and she always said the little Texas oranges were better, and I didn't like that because, excuse me, they had seeds in them, they had this thin skin and all and everything. I wanted her to buy them big old fat navel oranges, right? Well, the fatness to one of those is the skin on it. The skin is that dead burn thick on one of them things, right? And, when you're young, you don't think mama knows what she's talking about. I went ahead and I got a navel orange yesterday because the little Texas ones weren't good looking. They weren't good looking. Hold on, let me turn my fire down here. You don't want to boil them jars big. They'll break, okay? But anyway, what I had to do was take this 1 orange, and I had to zest it. And it calls for 2 teaspoons of zest from the peel, okay? You know what, y'all? Just zest your orange. Don't try to measure out 2 teaspoons. But in this case, I was glad I got the big navel orange because of the zest I wanted. It did have availability or whatever of more zest on it because it is so big on the peeling, right? So you make your choice on your orange. That's just my take on it. And I am using a navel orange in this thing in particular. But you have to zest your orange, in which I've done that. See, I've got my zest in here, right? That's sitting there waiting on me. Then you have to peel your orange and get all of that white stuff off the outside of it, okay? And you're going to do the little segments in it. But make sure you get all that white stuff off the outside because that's kind of bitter, right? Now, I've already chopped up, more or less half of my cranberry pile, that 12-ounce thing of cranberries. Now I have to chop up, all right, let me put it back down here. Now I have to chop up my oranges in with my cranberries. Now see, that's where if, say, you had your food processor, you could just whoop it in there real quick, I guess. And like I say, I have one, but it wouldn't hold all this stuff. And I'd be having to dump some out and put them back in, dump some out. So I just figured, what the heck, I can chop them up, And you want some little chunks in there a little bit. So it ain't like it's got to be some kind of perfectly chopped whatever. And see, that's going to be good enough for me. Look at see how it is in there? Okay. Because we're going to take a vegetable smasher and smash this stuff around in the pot once we start cooking it. That's good enough, y'all. I've got my orange and my cranberry chopped up together. Okay? 12 ounces of fresh or frozen cranberries, chopped up however you want to do them in your food processor or on the board like I'm doing here. 1 orange, peeled and sectioned, okay? And go ahead, before you do that though, it's a lot easier if you go ahead and zest. Go ahead and zest your orange, then peel it and do the little segments and stuff, okay? So we've got our orange done. Now, we need 16 ounces of fresh, here we go again, I had problems getting them, fresh or frozen strawberries. Well, I wanted fresh. I had to get frozen. Now, if you get frozen ones, you be sure and thaw them out really good. Put them in a colander and just let them thaw out and let all that juice drain out of them because there's going to be so much water from them being frozen and it'll mess up your measurements for your liquid in your jam. So just let them thaw. I mean, it don't matter if there's a little bit of juice in there. They ain't got to be dry, but you want as much of that liquid that'll just drain out of that colander while they're sitting there thawing. So give yourself time for that. Put them out way early before you ever start getting all this stuff together because this takes a while getting it's your preparation time, right? Once you start on the jelly, it rocks on, right? And it's fun. It's fun, y'all. And oh, I can't wait to give it as gifts. I just can't wait. I can't wait to taste of it and see what it's going to taste like. I don't know. We'll find out together. Okay? All right. There is our 12 ounces of cranberries, our 1 orange, all chopped together. And now our, and we zested our orange previously. Now I'm going to take these strawberries. And it says to chop them up and everything, but y'all, if they've been frozen, and you just take your hands and kind of squish them together or whatever, and they're all meaty and everything, that they're going to break down. It ain't like having the fresh ones. So now I'm going to put my strawberries in there. See, I just had them draining in this colander, and that's all I did. Let me wash that off of my hands real quick. Take this lid off this pot. This booger's boiling. Okay, so now we have our, and that's 16 ounces on the strawberries, 12 ounces on the cranberries, 16 ounces on the strawberries, and 1 orange. Okay, zested and peeled and segmented. Okay, all that's together in there. Now, what's it say on here? Chopped strawberries. Okay, in a large pot. I've got them in a large pot. Now we're going to add, I lost my place. Oh, okay. In a large pot, add water and fruit mixture. Stir in fruit pectin with a half a teaspoon of butter. Okay, the fruit pectin. This recipe, I've done got pretty good at using that gelled pectin, and a lot of people have problems with that because you have to be almost exact. It says on there, do this exactly as it says, and it means it. You know, or you'll end up with syrup or something you got to slice, you know. Either way, this one is the powdered pectin. Where's it say it at? Premium fruit pectin, okay? And you see what brand it is there. And it comes in 1 pack to a box, okay? So we're just going to open this. Let's see. Our water. We got to add half a cup of water to our fruit. Half a cup of water. I'm going to go through this recipe because I'm all over the place this morning with it. I'll go through the recipe at the end and give y'all the ingredients correctly. Okay? And now we're going to add our fruit pectin. We're going to stir this in there. Let's see where I'm at in that. Okay, we're going to bring that to a boil, and then we're going to add our sugar, and we'll be starting to get ready to ladle it up. It's that easy, y'all. Christmas jam. I'm excited. All right, here's our powdered pectin. There we go. Let me get me a good spoon for stirring. I want... Well, if I can get it out of the thingamajiggy. Okay. Let me move this out of my way. Y'all, canning is kind of messy. You got stuff everywhere. You know, it's kind of hard to keep it all together. Okay, look, there's everything I got in there. There's my cranberries, my strawberries, my pectin, my orange, and my water. Okay. When did it say add the spices, though? Chopped strawberries, stir in with your cranberry orange. Oh, I need to go ahead and add my spices and my orange zest. Okay, there's 2 teaspoons, or in my case, an orange zested. My orange zested, okay? There's my zested orange. And now it calls for, all right, here's the spices, y'all. A 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, ground cloves. 1/4 teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. And 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. So it's a 1/4 teaspoon each of your warm spices there, okay? and your zest. So now I have everything in here. And it says just to stir it up. We're going to get it all stirred up and mixed together. You know what? I don't think I want to use the vegetable smasher. I've already got this stuff chopped up to the consistency I want and all of that. The only thing we got left to put in here now is our sugar. And it calls for 4 cups of sugar. That's what we're going to add to it. So I've got it all stirred up. Look how pretty it is, just like that, y'all. Look. Isn't that pretty? I love it. I love it. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut this off and I'm going to get my camera over there by the stove now, because all the rest of our work is going to be over there and I want y'all to be able to see that. So I will get everything set up over there and I'll be right back and we'll finish up this Christmas jam for gifts for people. Okay, y'all, we're almost there. Now, this stuff is thick. Look. I want you to see how thick that is. This is really thick. And it says to bring it to a rolling boil on high heat. Well, now, I got this booger on high heat, but I'm telling you, with it being that thick, like that, I'm staying on it. I am staying on it. And I don't know how this stuff is supposed to boil. It's so thick, or what I call a boil, but I don't think it can get any hotter than what I've got it right now. So just, if yours is thick like mine like this, be sure and stay on it while you've got that heat. Of course, the more it's cooking, it is breaking down and getting thinner, you know. So that, because it's really thick before you start this. But see, it has everything in there now except the sugar. Okay. We're fixing to add our sugar to it, y'all. I just wanted y'all to see what it looked like when while you were doing this part. Because when you add that sugar, that's going to give you your liquid. I just want it to be bubbling at least, you know. I mean, it's steaming and hissing and stuff. But it's bubbling, kind of like it would if it was pudding in there cooking, you know. Because it's thick, y'all. But it is jam. After all, it's not jelly, it's jam. So it's loaded. It's packed with your meats, with your fruit meats. Okay, and I know it says high, but I'm fixing to turn that thing down a little bit while I'm adding this sugar and get it stirred in there. Alright, y'all. I have 4 cups of sugar in this big bowl. I'm just going to add it in there. And that's where our liquid's going to be coming from. That's going to create the syrup in it. All we got to do is get this mixed in there really well. And we're going to bring it back up to a boil and turn the fire off and start ladling it up in our jars. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh yeah, y'all, see that, you'll be tripping out on that big pot of thick stuff going, what in the world? But when you add this sugar, it changes the whole ball game. I go around here and scrape my little stuff off the top. You want to stay on top of it, you know. You don't want to, because you can scorch it, I'm sure. Well, I know you can. When it's, you know, this thick, syrupy stuff like this, you want to stay on it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and turn my fire back up so I can bring it back up to a rolling boil. And that's when we're going to, oh, y'all, it's beautiful. Let me see if I can, now I'm getting excited. Look at that. Is that not pretty? Oh, my goodness. Ooh, I dropped a little blob on there. I'll get the taste of it. Okay, it's getting close, y'all, but keep stirring it. Don't rake, make sure you rake around the edges of your pot down in there. Oh, it's pretty, and I can smell the orange zest in it. And the spices, and they don't smell overwhelming, y'all. You know, a lot of people don't like cloves. Listen, if you don't think, you know, if you don't think you want the cloves in there, just the allspice and the cinnamon will work for you, or you want to put more or less on the spice thing, you know, that's up to you. Because I think a lot of people don't like cloves. But in this, it belongs in it to me. It's just, you know, we're going to make it just like it called for, just to see. I always like to do that on a recipe. If I've never done it before, I go ahead and follow that first recipe exactly like it says, as much as possible anyway. And then I find out if I want to tweak it in different ways or whatever, right? Just keep stirring. It's got to come on up to a boil. It is almost there, y'all. And we will have Christmas jam ready to ladle up. It's very pretty. There's all different kind of recipes for this. This is just one I found, and it looked like it was good to me because I wanted the one. What I did was I searched for one because I wanted one that had the orange in it. I like the orange in it. I really do. Y'all be careful stirring this. If it slops on you and that sugary stuff sticks to your skin, it will burn the living dog out of you because it just stays on there. It sticks to you like glue and just keeps burning. So be careful stirring it and handling it. Look at it bubbling. Can you see? Yep, you can see it. Okay. Okay, we're fixing to call this. You just want to stir it because you want all that heat distributed through there correctly. When you're stirring and it keeps bubbling, you know you're there. Well, if it's bubbling while you're stirring it. That's when you know the heat is distributed all throughout the ingredients. Okay, we're turning it off. We are done. Okay, let me stir it up good. Get this over here out of my way. And now I want to show y'all. The whole time, y'all see it steaming. I've had my big water pot with my little jars in it. Going real easy in there. And they're full of water. So what, oh, that thing's still bubbling. And see, I've got them full of water right now. See that? So I'm going to take that and dump that out in my sink. And then that way when I refill it with jelly and put it back in here, it'll be the same weight distributed in my water and make my water level come up over my jars correctly. Okay? I hope I'm saying that right. Let me dump this water out. You be really careful when you do it. Ooh, like that, right? You be really careful handling these things. If I can get, I've got so many in here, it's hard for me to pinch them down. Okay, there we go. You get a few of them dumped out there. Let me look at that jar, make sure I didn't crack it or nothing. Oh, looks good. Okay. Now, oh, and something else. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you see this little pot over here? It's got my lids. I put them in that little pot of water, and turned that fire on under them and just got it, the minute it started bubbling, boiling, I turned it off. And just let them sit there in that hot water, and that way your little caps, lids, whatever you want to call them, are sterilized. Okay? Now your rings, that's up to you if you want to sterilize them. I'll show you what I do. And I do this, but I don't know if you have to sterilize those or not. Why not sterilize everything, right? You get this water dumped out of here, and look at that still bubbling. That's what I'm talking about how hot that stuff is, y'all. That is just way hotter than like a thin liquid. Little half-pint jars here. We'll get them filled up. Ooh, buddy. Okay, last one. And my fire is still going under my pot, y'all, because I want my water to be staying hot, because I'm going to be putting them in that water bath for 10 minutes after I get them ladled up and sealed, okay? Let me go ahead and dump my water off my lids so I can get to them. See, I just got them in there like that. Now they're hot and ready for me to put on this, and have you a rag ready with some hot water on it. Some people like to put vinegar on a napkin, on a paper towel, but I do good with my, I just do a wet rag just to, when I pour it in there, I'm going to wipe the rings off like that a little bit, you know, the rim of your jar. Here we go, y'all. Let's see what we're going to have. Christmas jam coming up. It says it makes 10 half pints. You never know what a recipe is going to really make. Oh, and you must leave headspace for your stuff. So when you put your jelly in here, you go to this first rim right here. You stop right there at the first rim, okay? Just stop right there. Can y'all see how pretty it is? It's going to be fun, y'all. We'll see if it tastes good here in a little bit. That's when you get to taste it in the pan. When you get through with the getting it all dripped up, ladled up and stuff, then you get the drippings out of there. A little bit more in that one. There we go. This video might be a little bit long, y'all, but not too bad. Hopefully no longer than it takes for me to make the cake baking ones. It takes a long time to do some of this stuff. And if you're not enjoying it and wanting it to just... This is supposed to be an enjoyable thing here. This is not like trying to cook supper for the family at night after you've come home from work. This is a weekend project. And this did not take any time, y'all. It really didn't. Tell you what I'm going to do. What I've got left here, I'm just going to, just a little bit. I'm going to set this off to the side, and I'll take that up in a little container for Buzz and I and just put it in the refrigerator, and we'll get to eat on it. But that gave me 2, 4, 6, 8 half pints to give out in the little baskets and stuff, okay? So, next thing's next. I gotta have me a second rag to handle them because that is hot. It is hot. Hot, hot, hot. Everything, but you want it. You want everything hot as much as possible. Okay. So see, like I'm just picking it up. Now I'm gonna wipe my rim. Put my cap on. And my lid. And you don't try to crank down with all your might. You just crank it down. Dang, what do they call it? There's a, forgot to wipe that. Anyway, you just tighten it up. You don't have to crank down on it. Just make sure you got them screwed down good. Because see, they're going to be going in that, ooh, see that rag's getting hot for me holding that jar. Yeah, this one's got some on it here. They're going to be going in this water bath, and then the lids will be going under the, I got to set it down, take my lids apart. I'm going to go along here to speed this up and wipe my rims like that. I was just doing that to show y'all. This is how I do it when I'm working by myself. I just wipe them all off with my rag like that. And I get my lids, go along here, set my lids down on them. And now I can grab them and put my rings on. I'm gonna have to not use that one. Use another one. Always have you some spare rings and jars ready in case you have a flub up, for sure. Because you're gonna have them. You're gonna have a jar crack, or you know, do like I did just then and drop one of your lids on the floor, or you know, things like that. All right, y'all, there it is. Now, what we're fixing to do now is get our, and you do this, y'all. Now my water is boiling. It's not even rolling boiling in here, okay? I can come back up on that now. It's not even a rolling boil in there, but it's, the fire is under it. And I've got the fire real low, right? Because you have to ease these jars down in here, and I mean ease them. Just set them down in there real easy. Because if you set them down in there too quick and that heat change, it will crack that jar and all your stuff will run out in your water and you'll just have a mess. You'll lose your jar of jelly. Just don't slap the bottom of that thing on the top of that water. I kind of put mine in at a little angle. See how I'm kind of doing it like at an angle like that, and ease it in there. And like I said a while ago, because I had water in my jars, had my jars filled up with the water, then I know that my hot water is going to go over the top of. Uh-oh. Look what I did. I'm talking and I missed one. Thank goodness my water wasn't up yet. Where's my rings? Need one more ring on here. See, it's stuffed just like that. You're gonna have it. Or I do. I can be, I can be goofy in here. Don't think I can't. Lose my train of thought. But like I say, don't be scared. Don't be scared. If you are, you won't get it done. And if you have a mistake, then you just learn from it. That's all there is to it. I guarantee you, cooking is about that. Okay. Now, I don't have, well, I'm going to leave it just like that. Let me turn it back up now, and I'm going to get it to boiling. And listen, if you want a little more water over your top of your jars, make sure that you have a little pot of water boiling in the background somewhere to add to this to get your water level where you want it. You do that especially when you're having to can something for, you know, an hour or so or whatever, because it's going to evaporate and drop down. But for 10 minutes, you know, it's good. You know, just have your little thing if you want it. But mine are just covered, and that's good enough for me there. But, you know, for 10 minutes, I'm going to do them just like that. But once it starts getting boiling up, I'm going to turn it back down to a more gentle boil. If you boil them real big, another thing besides cracking your jars is the lids will buckle. It'll make the lids buckle. So if you boil them gently, the heat has time to do the vacuum and all that stuff, and everything has time to do what it's supposed to do. You don't rush it. So we'll be back after these get done. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. So I turned my fire off under them. And we're just going to get them up out of here gently. Now give them a little tip to get that water off the cap and stuff. It's so dark in here, and it's dark and you can't see it. But it's very pretty, y'all. So I'm just going to set them down over here very gently. I can set mine in the middle of my stove and let them just sit there and cool for a little while, and then I'll transfer them over to a towel or something somewhere on the cabinet. And but like right now, you want to keep them out of a drafty area. Just let them sit there and cool down at their own little pace, and then you'll start hearing the beautiful music of the ping. When you hear the pinging, you know you did it right. And don't mess with them. Don't walk over there, be touching the lids, moving them around or anything. Just leave them alone. Let them do their thing. And they will set up and be beautiful for you to put precious little tops on them, little ties around them or whatever. You know how those look when you see them at the little flea market areas. It's so pretty, y'all. I wish y'all could see it in different lighting, but anyway, any-oh-hoo, this is our Christmas jam recipe, y'all. Y'all have to try it. It was so easy. Once you get your stuff chopped up and measured, then you just put it in that pot and stir those couple last ingredients in there and let it boil and thicken. And then you put them in your water, big old water pot. That's what you do. We've got 8 beautiful little half pints of Christmas jam to share and give love with. So y'all try this recipe. It's the first of many holiday recipe things I'm going to be putting out. So y'all be sure and watch and subscribe and hit the little bell and tell anybody else about my little page on here. So I love you guys, and hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday afternoon, and God bless all of you, and I'll see you next time in the kitchen with Tally Faye. Oh, man, here we go. I wanted to read that. This was important. I want to read this to you. It's the Christmas jam recipe. Get your pencil. Make sure you got your pencil and pen or whatever, pencil or pen, and something to write it on. I'll give you just a minute. See, I'm so crazy. I told you. I was all over the place today. That's all right. That's all right. I still got the jam made. So we're doing that, right? All right, here we go. It's the Christmas jam. You need 12 ounces of fresh or frozen cranberries, 1 orange, peeled and sectioned, 2 teaspoons of orange zest, or just zest your orange, right? 16 ounces of fresh or frozen strawberries. And like I said, if the strawberries are frozen, let them thaw and drain, and let some of that water, that liquid come off of them, okay? Then on your spices, you need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground clove, a 1/4 teaspoon allspice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And like I said, you know, if you don't like clove, or you got some other kind of spice thing you'd like to do with that, you know, that's up to you. You can play with that on your spices, right? Okay, and then you have to have 4 cups of sugar. Now, you have to have your 4 cups of sugar, okay? Because that makes it set up right and everything. 1 package of your powdered fruit pectin, and 1/2 cup of water, okay? And go back through this video and watch and see how to do this recipe. And there's your ingredients. Y'all have a good one in the kitchen with Tally Faye.